welcome to the Art of Decluttering podcast. I'm your host, Amy Revell. It's lovely to be with you in mid-December. Christmas at our house is coming along well. We're very lucky that we don't have to buy a whole lot of presents this year, so we haven't had to brave the shops too much. We're doing KKs with Cal's work, with my family and Cal's family, and so it's actually been a pretty quiet December for us. I think too, once the kids are out of primary school, you don't have as many of the end of year concerts and breakups and parties and all of that. We actually are just chilling and taking things pretty easy, which is lovely. What I have been thinking about the last couple of weeks in my own home and in my personal items is around the concept of running out. And I think there's a real fear that we have as humans of running out of something. Like, what does it mean to run out? And so I want to dive a little bit into that today. I find that one of the most natural ways to declutter for me is to actually use what I have, use things up completely and have run out before I purchase a replacement or I purchase something new. And so I just want to really place it out there today as a challenge for you to think differently about your stuff, for you to think differently about the concept of running out and purchasing and the benefits to running out. Because I don't think it's something we're very good at, because the shops always have 2-for-1s. And a 2-for-1 means one for now and one for later. Even though you actually don't need the one for later yet, we do it because it saves us money, and the companies do it because then we're purchasing and we're becoming brand alliant, and we're actually wanting to go back and buy that again and again and again. Because when you run out, you're much more likely to buy the same brand, the same type of thing, the same item, which is totally fine because that does reduce your mental load. If you kind of know that's the shampoo brand I buy, when I run out, I just go and buy that one again. I think the challenge around having retail as such a sales-based thing, particularly in the grocery space and the supermarket space, is 2-for-1s and multi-buys. And it's about buying things when the company tells you to rather than when you need it. And I personally find this very challenging because I do love a 2-for-1 saving. I love being able to buy something on sale. But what it does is it puts me in the back seat, and it allows the company that's selling the item to be the instigator of a purchase, to be the decider of how many I buy and when I buy them. And that in and of itself, I mean, it's capitalism at its best. It just drives me a little bananas. And so there are areas which I don't do that, where I just won't buy ahead, because there is such value in running out. So I'll give you some examples. One of the things that I have a couple of in my life are lip balms. I have one in my handbag, I have one in the car, and one at my desk, and one in my bedside table. So I've got 4 lip balms. It is really tempting when I see lip balm either on sale, or I'm like, oh, do I need a new lip balm? I can't remember. I'll throw one in the trolley because I know which ones I want. I want the Nivea ones that are very moisturizing and just simple and easy. But actually keeping track of multiples and excess, it does my head in a little bit, because then I'm always looking for a lip balm, even though I've got enough. Like, I've got one in the car and in my handbag and at my desk and in my bedside table. And they are the places that I need a lip balm. I'm very rarely, if ever, not in one of those 4 places or have my handbag with me. And so the concept of trying to keep track of stock can be really confusing. So I find that people that have more of something find it harder to find the thing. So think about it in your life. The more pairs of glasses you have, like spectacle glasses, the harder it is to find a pair, isn't it? The more lip balms you have, the harder it is to find one. The more thongs you have, the harder it is to find a pair. You can see how having more actually sometimes makes things much harder because you don't keep track of it as much. And so I've really found this in some areas, whereas like if I have more than one set of earbuds, for instance, I lose track of them. But if I have just one, I totally know where they are most of the time. Same with glasses. I do have multiple pairs of glasses, but I only ever have one on the go at a time. So when I'm finished with, if I'm wearing a different color pair, I'll pull it out, I'll wear it, And then when I'm done, I put it back away in the drawer where it belongs, because if I have 3 or 4 pairs of glasses floating around, I can just never find the pair I need. And so there is something about simplicity and not constantly trying to find things when you've got multiples. Think about it in terms of clothes. This is something that I am getting much, much, much better at, because it drives me crazy. And that is when I buy a new item of clothing to replace a piece of clothing that's almost run out. So the leggings are almost, see-through, or almost have a hole in them, or are almost too faded, or are almost out of shape. But then what I do is, if I buy a replacement before I run out, I tend to keep both. And then every time I pick up a pair of leggings, I'm like, oh, which ones are these? Are these the only has 2 wears left in them leggings? Or are these the new ones? And I find that we can do that with so many things. You might buy, I'm just thinking around tech, like you might buy a new laptop, or you might buy a new phone, or you might buy a new tablet. And if you haven't completely exhausted the old one and gotten rid of it, you'll constantly be thinking, oh, did I take the photos off that one? Oh, is there still important information on that? Oh, where did the iPad go? Oh, no, that's the old one. Can you see how it actually complicates your life unnecessarily? And so it is a really great thing to do, to run out of something and then to replace it. So let's go to a super quick break, and then I want to talk to you about some of the psychology behind it so that you can really delve deep and grow in this area. Back in just a second. One of the things I want to challenge you with is put yourself in a situation where you have run out. So in your mind's eye, what does it feel like to run out of something? If you're standing in the shower and you run out of shampoo, how does that feel? Does it feel like you've not adulted properly, because you should always have back stock of everything? Is it just annoying? As a callback to an episode I did with Bonnie a few weeks ago, do you make do? Do you have a look under the sink and get one of those little hotel conditioners and use that up? And so actually you're decluttering and running out, and then you're going to go and purchase the thing that you want. How does it feel in your body when you run out of something? How does it feel when you go to the pantry and you've run out of brown sugar? Now, I'm not talking about like running out of the things that you use every day. So I'm not saying you should run out of milk before you then go to the shops and buy more milk. Like in our family, we go through probably 2 to 3 litres of milk a day. So it makes sense to have a little bit of milk in back stock. But it doesn't make sense for us to have kilos of flour in back stock, because we're actually not going to get through those particularly quickly. And then we are just storing things on behalf of the supermarket, or because I got to save 15 cents per kilo or something like that. I find that the running out also means that you're going to save money. So if you think about, I think I've talked about this on episodes before, but if you're someone who loves to have a nice black t-shirt and you buy the new one near the end of the old one, or you buy multiple at a time, you're probably going to consume more t-shirts, more black t-shirts in your lifetime than you would if you wore a t-shirt until in your mind it's run out. So whatever that looks like, misshapen, holes, discolored, whatever it is, and you get rid of it and then go and buy another one, you're going to consume less. And when you consume less, you add less carbon to the environment. You reduce the manufacturing and transport and retail space and everything that's required for additional items to be purchased. Now, you as a single person buying 1 extra or 2 extra black t-shirts over your lifetime is not probably going to change the world. However, culturally, and if we cultivate this sense of I'm going to run out and then I'm going to purchase it, like when was the last time you ran out of something and it ruined your day? Or there wasn't another solution. You couldn't wear something else. You couldn't cook something else. You couldn't find the lip balm in your handbag instead of the one in your bedside drawer. So really the challenge is around thinking differently about the concept of running out. I embrace the run out. I just think it is such a great thing because it's such an easy and natural way to declutter. If underneath your bathroom cupboards are just chock-a-block, it's probably because you're buying things before you run out. So what would it look like if you've got like 4 different types of body wash under there, but you're constantly buying 2-for-1s of the brand that you absolutely love? What if instead you ran out, you used your back stock up, and then you just purchased as you needed, or just one in back stock, and you know it's the brand that you like? I've found this with hair products. As a curly girl, I do lots of curly girl method with my hair and trying out different products. And sometimes you end up with like a half jar of this and a bit of that and a bit of that. But using it up makes me feel like, okay, that's awesome. I've used the product. I've tried it out. I've, come back to it. I've used it up. I've got all the value that I can out of this item. So I don't feel bad throwing it out. But it also means that there's space. If I want to try a new item, I've actually got space in the cupboard and space in my head to do that. And so there's so many benefits of allowing yourself to run out of something. Probably don't try running out of petrol. Probably don't try running out of money. Probably don't try running completely out of food, although most of us can get to somewhere where we can purchase food within 5 minutes. But I want you to challenge yourself. Think about the benefits. It's easier to keep track of things. You're not spending additional money. You've got less back stock in your house, and so you can find things easier. You're not then being dictated to by the retailers and by companies of when you should buy things and how many you should buy. You are in control, and you get to enjoy some freedom of space and freedom of money, and you're back in the driver's seat. So next time you run out of something, I want you just to think, what does this feel like? What was I afraid of? And can I make do? Can I just go and get a replacement next time I'm out and about? Awesome. Well, I hope that has been helpful. And until next week, enjoy the freedom. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people who are the traditional custodians of the land this podcast is recorded on. I would also like to pay respects to their elders, both past and present, of the Kulin Nation, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love you to rate and review the show on your podcast app. That will help others to find the Art of Decluttering podcast as well. If you'd like any more information, you can visit theartofdecluttering.com.au, and I would love to see you in my Facebook group. Just search the Art of Decluttering community on Facebook and join today. I hope that you have an incredible rest of your day and enjoy the freedom.